I saw fewer movies overall in 2016 than I did in 2015, so there are only a handful that didn't make either list for me this year. I thought about doing some catch up for stuff I was still interested in, but I'm gonna let this list stand as just my favorites that I was actually able to get to within 2016. Number 30, Star Trek Beyond. Sofia Boutella carries this movie for me. I'm so ready for Star Trek to go back to being a TV series though. Number 29, La La Land. I've heard people argue that the bad singing is an intentional choice to make the movie feel more real, but I just don't think they pulled it off well. It's an idea I actually really appreciate and have seen done successfully before. Everyone Says I Love You and Romance and Cigarettes are two of my favorite movies. The problem is that this movie doesn't fully commit to that idea and still tries to be a large, old school musical, which it just doesn't pull off at all. The high points of this film that work for me really work though, and as much as the stuff around them bothers me. City of Stars is a good song, and the main little piano riff just eats into me. This is a movie I should love that just didn't fully come together. Number 28, Fences. A stage play disguising itself as a movie. It's good, I just would have preferred a movie. Number 27, Nerve. The closest thing to Hackers in 2016. I really appreciate how Nerve goes for it, even though it's real dumb and cringy at times. Honestly, the thing that holds it back for me is that its teenage characters are such believably shitty teens that I kinda hate them. Not completely, but fucking teens. Number 26, Now You See Me Too. Somehow dumber than the original. This is just one of those series where the dumber it gets, the more I like it. There's some diminishing returns in this sequel, but Woody Harrelson plays his own evil twin brother in this movie. How can I not love it? Number 25, Maximum Ride. Objectively the worst movie I saw in 2016, and also I think the lowest grossing movie I've ever seen in a theater, having only grossed a little over $4,000 total. But I just had such a good time watching this. It felt like a special treat made just for me. This is one of those movies that just fails face first into being a real fun time. Number 24, Nine Lives. Yes, I did just put Maximum Ride in the movie where Kevin Spacey turns into a cat above Oscar contenders like Fences and La La Land. Nine Lives is stupid and funny, and has some great Christopher Walken bits. Number 23, Warcraft. The only movie I saw in a theater twice in 2016. Warcraft gets some spectacle stuff really right, although it does get plenty of other stuff wrong. There's so much lore cut out, some stuff is changed in ways I don't like, and I don't think this movie fully lives up to the better CGI cutscenes Blizzard has put out over the years. But whatever, this movie was fun. I really liked watching Gul'dan drink people. Number 22, Sausage Party. Did this movie actually happen? Was this real? Was there really an animated movie about talking food that turned out to be a parody of religion and ended in a giant food orgy? Probably not, right? Number 21, Captain America Civil War. My favorite version of Spider-Man any live-action Marvel movie has managed so far is a big plus for me. This movie faced the problem of adapting a comic book story that I frankly hate, and it mostly came out okay. The plot doesn't really make any sense, and the stakes never quite feel right in the hero versus hero fights, but there's fun action here, and we do at least eventually get to a Captain America Iron Man fight with real emotion tied into it. This was ambitious and messy in a way that was ultimately successful. Number 20, The Mermaid. Stephen Chow asked the important questions, like, what if the Little Mermaid had been an assassin? And what if instead of actually getting human legs, she just got her tail sliced in half so she could go waddle around in shoes? This movie is held back by obvious ADR that bugs me, but other than that, it's wild and very funny. If you can't respect Batman, at least respect yourself. Number 19, Azura, The City of Madness. A good, violent crime thriller that shows signs of being great. This is a movie that solves all its problems by having everyone get murdered into a huge pile of corpses at the very end. And there's some catharsis in that. Number 18, Kubo and the Two Strings. Great stop-motion animation, some well-done gut-wrenching emotional scenes, and some solid kids movie adventure fun make this movie work. Some of its messaging stuff is muddled, and the ending doesn't quite work for me, but this is impressive filmmaking. Number 17, Deadpool. Sure, Deadpool is a funny movie, but it's how good the romance stuff is that really impressed me here. I knew the movie would go for the comedy aspects of the character, but I wasn't sure they'd find the heart, so I was pleasantly surprised. It still runs aground of the structure issues so many comic book movies, where it ends with Deadpool fighting a dude who basically has the same power set, but they found the core of the character and made a fun movie, so that's incidental. Number 16, The Wailing. A really good horror movie that's unfortunately about a piece of shit I don't really care about. There's just so much craft on display here, and even a bunch of funny scenes up front. This is like watching an ancient tragedy, with a main character who just barrels forward into his own demise. Number 15, The Purge Election Year. Not quite as good as The Purge Anarchy, but a decent sequel. This one ups the stakes, fills out the world a little more, with much better supporting characters. Just a solid action movie. Number 14, The Conjuring 2. A sequel that's even better than the original. James Wan knocks it out of the park with his directing this time around. I really love how this movie looks. It's kind of a standard possession movie beyond that, but it's got charming characters I rooted for. Number 13, Swiss Army Man. What a weird fucking movie. I love how Swiss Army Man never backs down from its weirdness, even when it could have, and a lesser movie would have. A movie about depression and loneliness that also understands the value of a good fart joke. Number 12, Elle. Paul Verhoeven delivers an incredibly well-made thriller that's really fucked up. This movie opens with a rape and gets darker from there. Not for the faint of heart. Number 11, Rogue One. Some of the best spectacle of the year. Rogue One's climax is an all-timer. I don't really care about these characters, and I think it takes a little too long to get there, but fuck. Rogue One taps perfectly into that part of me that just wants to smash toys together. Number 10, Don't Breathe. 2 movies in and Fede Alvarez is already one of my favorite directors. I love how relentless his movies have been and the way they just keep going and pushing forward, testing the heroine's endurance. I didn't love this as much as I loved Evil Dead, but this is a solid follow-up that only serves to confirm the affection I already had for him as a director. Number 9, Patterson. Patterson is a pretty low-key movie, but it does such a great job at making you feel the crushing weight of reality as one thing after another falls down and weighs upon the titular character. The way routine can be comforting and soul-crushing, and the simple things that can make it all feel manageable again. Number 8, The Handmaiden. One of the few movies on this list I never wrote up a full review for. The Handmaiden comes from director Park Chan-wook, who directed Oldboy and Stoker. This is a movie that's hard to talk about without spoiling, as the twists and turns of the plot are a big part of the appeal. This is a great thriller where things are not what they seem. Number 7, Train to Busan. One of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. Also one of the best train movies. I think this had the best final moment of any movie this year. Number 6, The Age of Shadows. Another great thriller. This one also had a great train scene. This is more of a classic spy thriller that separates itself with some brilliant sequences and great set pieces. Number 5, Moana. A great adventure tale that blew me away with its visuals while also being an effective musical. Number 4, The Boy and the Beast. A wild coming-of-age tale that really connected with me, delivering on great characters and dialogue and giant, silly spectacle where teenage metaphors are allowed to materialize as crazy action reality. Number 3, The Nice Guys. Incredibly charming and funny, this is the kind of crazy, comedic, and violent detective story that Shane Black was made to tell. Number 2, Hell or High Water. This is a fucking perfect crime thriller. Hell or High Water is an amazing film. Number 1, Shin Godzilla. No spectacle wowed me this year the way Shin Godzilla did. Hideaki Anno managed to make Godzilla fresh and surprising and terrifying in a way he hasn't really been since his very first movie. Pushing forward, retelling stories in ways that feel new. That's what I want from fiction, and that's what I like. Giant monsters with atomic breath that shoot lasers are pretty neat too, though. If you want any deeper thoughts on any of these movies, except The Handmaiden or Fences, I've written reviews up for them on Burning Barrel. Thank you for your time.